Stand by to launch FanStream Sports.
3, 2, 1. Let's start.
Hello, sports fans. Welcome to FanStream Sports. Nothing but pure sports.
Today's episode is brought to you by the Highlands Performance Golf Center, North Dallas's premier golf practice facility with over 65 grass tees, 2 practice putting surfaces, a short game area, and an 18-hole mini golf course. With covered and heated tees, it's the best place to practice your game year-round. The Highlands Performance Golf Center is located in Carrollton on Trinity Mills, in between Marsh and Midway. Give them a call at 972-733-4111 or check them out on the web at highlandspgc.com. Hello, everybody. Welcome into another edition of America's favorite golf podcast. We are From the Rough. I'm Tim. That's Johnny. We are live from the DSP Media Studios in sunny North Dallas, part of the FanStream Sports Network. And this is like 3 weeks in a row we've done a show, Johnny. I don't know what to do with myself.
It's breaking records at this point. So you get it in now because you know I'm going to be gone for a couple weeks. But we're going to try to do the live stream for everybody while I'm going to be on the road for 3 weeks doing some FanStream Sports DSP business.
All the business, we hope.
All the business.
Right?
We'll be with our partner. We'll be with our partners there in Tampa for a little while. JP Peterson getting some stuff done, working on the great new live channel that we've been working on here for the past couple months. So we're hoping we're going to get that launched for everybody. And here in the next couple of weeks with all of our great content around the country. So we're looking forward to that. And, you can find all of our stuff still at this point right now, still on dsmmediaonline.com.
That's right. Lots of big things happening. We can't wait to tell all the good folks that have been following us for the last couple of years while we've been doing this. Need to get some house cleaning out of the way. Today's show brought to you by turflife.club, highlandspgc.com. And we got to welcome, Johnny, a new sponsor to the show, as the great Golf Central magazine comes on board to join us as a new business partner. Find the latest edition of Golf Central magazine over at golfcentralmag.com. Also, make sure you go check out, if you didn't do it last time when I told you to, then shame on you, but make sure you go over to turflife.club and check out all of the cool stickers they got, the hats, lots of good stuff over there for you to partake in and be a part of our little team over here at From the Rough. But big week in golf, Johnny, as we got to get right to it. By the way, follow us on social media. The show is at From the Rough PGA. The network is at DSP Media Online. I am at IndyCarTim, and that goober over there at the table all by himself is at John Gerber PGA Pro.
Is there somebody else here that I haven't seen?
Yeah, over there to your right.
Okay.
I don't know if you can see him or not.
I didn't know.
Okay, well, it is what it is. Johnny, the Sony Open this past weekend, before we get into the big American Express preview coming up. Also, by the way, I don't know if Johnny's going to like this or not, but I do have some live golf details that I need to spout out a little bit.
Yeah, we talked about that earlier. You got to get it off your chest.
I do.
No better platform than here.
Got some hot sports opinions on live golf I always do.
No problem.
But first, Johnny, the Sony Open, Siwoo Kim, 18 under out there in the last, and I guess we talked about it, it's not really a swing, right, because it's just 2 tournaments?
Yeah, it's just one of those, obviously the first tournament with the winners only. And I think we talked about it a little bit last week that next year it's going to change a little bit just because it's an elevated purse. So the tournament of well, that was not good. You didn't like the tournament or the drink was bad?
The drink's bad.
I got it. You made it, so there we go.
Oh, God.
But next year, the tournament of champions that started in Maui is going to switch next year. So it's going to be 2 years of winners. And they're going to give a few exemptions. The reason why they're doing that is because it's an elevated field event, so there's more money. And the tour kind of policy board was like, you just can't bump up the fee. You can't bump up that much money with, a limited field like that. Mm-hmm. So that's going to change. And then obviously going across to the other island, Honolulu, the big island there, to play the Sony Open at Wailea. Obviously, polar different types of golf courses. You could see the people that was kind of up top of the leaderboard last week at Sony wasn't even close to the same people that were in contention at the Tournament of Champions. And a little bit has to do with a lot of those guys don't play.
Right.
So, so that was a little bit of the reason. But, some of those guys love this golf course. I really liked it. I've played it a few times over there. It's a little quirky. It's got a lot of dog legs, but it doesn't overpower you with length. And really the only defense, I mean, a little bit even the first week of the year at Hyundai was, the wind is a defense for the golf course. And it just didn't blow. It was weird. It's the first time in a long time that I've really kind of covered golf that I've never seen the wind not blow 2 weeks in a row over there. There was nothing. And, especially that week when I handicapped the event, I always add wind into play because if you don't, first off, it's not the right way to handicap it.
Right.
But you're kind of a little bit behind the 8 ball if the wind doesn't blow as much as you think. And, that was one of the reasons that our picks didn't kind of come through the last day. The last round, I thought that it was predicted the wind was going to blow 30, 40, and I thought that, if you shoot 3 or 4 under par, that you could leapfrog a lot of guys. And it didn't blow. The guys didn't make a move except Siwoo Kim, and that's why he finished he won the golf tournament by a couple shots.
18 under, one shot, as it is, better than Hayden Buckley, and they went into the 72nd hole tied. And Siwoo shot a pair of 64s on the weekend to get himself into the top spot on the leaderboard. He then birdied 18 on the final day, setting Hayden up that missed his birdie to give him a one-shot lead. So it was a tight tournament. But Siwoo Kim, he's kind of a curious figure for me. What's this, his 4th win on the tour, I think?
Yeah. Won a Players Championship.
I keep hearing about all this talent that he's got, and, I see flashes of it. I just don't know what to think about him career-wise, like where he fits in the grand scheme of things.
Yeah, he's a little bit under the radar, right? He's battled some health issues that's kind of, hurt him to really play the type of golf that he really likes to play. But if you hear through the rumor mill the guys on the PGA Tour, they'll always tell you he's got immense talent. And you just don't win a Players Championship in the fashion that he won, in a dominant fashion. I remember some of the golf shots that he hit. I mean, hitting driver off decks on some of those par 5s that he's carved it around in 3 woods, and those conditions when he did win wasn't very good, but some of the shots that he hit there were just fantastic. I do remember that Players Championship. But also, the health issue, the health bugs got him probably the last, few years. It hadn't really helped him to play the type of golf that he wants. But, when the guy's on all cylinders, he certainly can win anywhere.
Hey, Hayden Buckley, of course, finishing second. We just mentioned it. Still looking for his first win. Where does this guy fit in, in the big picture here?
Yeah, it's hard to say. I think I like his backstory a little bit. He played a lot of different sports. He was a highly recruited baseball player coming out of high school. I don't want to say he got drafted, but I heard a little bit that he did get drafted to play baseball. So he's a really good athlete when it comes to that part, and that probably helps him when it comes to the mental part or the competitive part or not really being scared part of golf. He'll get have a little bit of a dog in you, but he's a little new to the scene. He's kind of bounced around the Korn Ferry Tour for a few years. Had some good success at the beginning of the year this season, and you asked me that question. I don't know. I think we got to see a little bit more out of him for me to really say, hey, man, this guy can, potentially win one time a year, or is he a one time every 3 guys, or is he a journeyman? I don't know. I watched his golf swing a little bit. It's a little unconventional, but he kind of owns it. But I think he rides the effect of, him being just a good athlete and having that little dog spirit in him.
So behind Kim and Buckley, we had Chris Kirk at 15 under, had a great week. Couldn't take it deep enough, though, all the way to Sunday to challenge for the lead. Andrew Putnam, David Lipsky, Ben Taylor all tied for 4th at 14 under. And we had a whole slobble knocker of guys that shocked me that missed the cut. As the first-round leader, Jordan Spieth, may be the biggest name, as he couldn't put it together on Friday. And you saw what happened. We talked about it off the air. Apparently not being able to sink his putts, just driver all over the place, right?
Yeah, I mean, if he played exactly the same way the first round that he did in the second round. The thing in the second round, he just didn't make putts. He drove the ball terrible. Like, he drove it awful. And it's not really a great golf course for him because there's so many dog legs, right? So it kind of, he wants to hit driver. And he self-admittedly is like, listen, man, I'm playing good. The golf gods, and I firmly believe this more than anything, the golf gods got him because after his interview after the first round, he said, yeah, he's like, I'm swinging at it so damn good. I feel like I can go shoot 4, 5, 6 under par every single day on this golf course. And no, You just can't say that. I mean,
Yeah.
and you just saw what happened. I'm not saying that's why, but he played exactly the same. If you look at his stats are the same. He just didn't make the putts the last round, and it's easy to kind of get out of sorts on that golf course when you're driving in the rough all the time.
Sung J M, and let's see, missed the cut. Another top 25 player in the world who missed the cut. And Tom Kim, the pre-tournament betting favorite, as we talked about last week, missed the cut.
And I told you don't bet him. I told everybody. I said, listen,
You said that was a terrible pick.
I said it was a terrible. Didn't you pick him?
I did.
Yeah, there you go. There it is.
I think I did.
Yeah, you did for sure. That's why I said it was a terrible pick. Yeah. But that being said, and I told you why. I said, listen, it's a golf course that it's quirky, right? There's a lot of dog legs and stuff like that. And if it's the first time you're playing it, you know, it's awkward. Some of the spots that you can get to. I mean, there's some of those holes out there you can be in the fairway and be blocked out. It's a bit like Harbor Town.
Yeah.
You know, so, you know, not knowing and not having course knowledge, I really thought it hurt him. I didn't think he missed the cut, but I just thought course knowledge there is key, and he just didn't have it, and that's why I didn't have him on our card last week.
Was there any other players that, before we get into our picks here, anybody else that you thought maybe stood out one way or the other that didn't have a great week that you thought would, or that maybe did that you didn't think they would?
Maybe like a Russell Henley, right? Mm-hmm. You know, he plays well there every single year, and you know, his performance that he had in Hyundai Tournament of Champions, he's knocked a little bit of the rust off, but that's the guy that kind of makes a lot of bread and gets a lot of points in that tournament year and year after year, and he just didn't really contend, and I don't know why. Really, that's about it. I mean, this time of year, it's a little tough because you just don't know who's been playing and who's trying to knock off the rust and things like that. So not really. It was a little status quo to me.
So before we get to the some Live Golf news and then the American Express as the tour comes to the continental U.S. for the first time this year, let's get into our picks from last week. And as we just covered, my pick for the winner, Tom Kim, had a little MC Hammer action going on as he missed a cut. And I've deleted that soundbite, by the way, out of the board.
You know why?
Why?
Because you use it too much when it comes to your picks. I think you just wore it down.
I think I wore the record out.
I think so, too.
At this point. However, I came so close on my top 10 and my top 20, Johnny, as I had J.J. Spawn in my top 10, who finished tied for 12th.
I told you that was a good pick.
You did. Tied for 12th at 12 under. In my top 20, I had J.T. Poston, who tied for 21st at 11 under.
Yeah, and I told you that was a good pick also. I told you both had good picks. I mean, you look at J.J. Spawn, my thing, and we talked about it last week, was – you know, he's healthy. He's bad. He's kind of over his health issues. I just didn't know if he had the stamina to play 4 rounds. And if you looked at him, he was up at the leaderboard the first probably 2.5 rounds, and I think fatigue got him a little bit, and that's what I was worried about when it comes to him. But JT Poston, this is a perfect golf course for him. Don't be surprised if that guy wins on this golf course, you know, in the next 2 or 3 years. But I thought both those picks were good.
That'd be fun to watch for sure. Johnny, you had a little bit more success than me, or maybe not so much. How'd you do? Johnny's picks brought to you as always by turflife.club. It is not an apparel brand. It's a lifestyle brand. Head over to turflife.club today.
Yeah, we didn't. It's the second week in a row. We were close to cashing some tickets, but we didn't cash in a ticket last week. But we had Cam Davis as our first pick. He finished T32nd at -9. He came off really hot out of the gates. First couple of rounds was good, and he just kind of, real lackluster really the last couple of rounds. Didn't really make a move, and it's, I don't know why, but I thought he'd have a little bit better performance. And we'll talk about him a little bit later on in the show. I like him on the card going for this week, but yeah, it's a little bit of mystery. A lot of guys picked him, and I was one of them, but he didn't have a great performance. KH Lee, T28 -10, another guy that kind of struggled on the weekend. And, again, he came off the first couple of rounds hot. I think they both those guys were in the top 10, right, the first couple of rounds.
Yeah.
And it just didn't happen. So, their weekend performance wasn't something. Here's a guy that shocked me. I thought Billy Horschel would play a lot better than he did. He missed the cut. He started off his first. I thought he would build some momentum after Hyundai because he shot 76 in the first round in Hyundai Tournament of Champions, and then shot like 12 or 14 under the last 3 rounds. So I thought the momentum would kind of build a little bit for him. going into the Sony. But the first round he shot like 3 over par. It didn't even look good.
Yeah.
And I was
looks very uncomfortable.
No, it's
all
just
weekend.
like, he's a little quirky, a little weird anyways.
He's on your list.
He is on the list, and he needs to make up for some shit. I'm seriously. I mean, Billy, you watch this show. You got some making up to do.
He does.
JP Peterson and I talked about that last week. You got some making up to do. So you let me know when you're about to play good, so so we can fill those pockets. But yeah, he was out. MC Hammer. Our ham sandwich pick is a guy. Again, we'll talk about him a little bit later in the show. Andrew Putnam, T fourth. Again, played really solid. It's a great golf course for him, but he shot 2 under the last round in like nothing conditions. If the guy plays halfway decent, he has a great opportunity to win the golf tournament. We had him at 55 to 1. He shoots 5 or 6 under on that on that golf course the last round. He's right there and potentially having a playoff, and he just really didn't do it. So a little disappointing for me there. Russell Knox, our 2 top 10s. Russell Knox finished T67 at -3. And we talked about this last week. This was kind of like a on the fence pick. If that wind blows, he's the best wind player on the PGA Tour. If that wind blows, he's got a chance to win the golf tournament and definitely finish in the top 10. And the wind just didn't blow.
Right.
So it's just one of those things that was tough. Webb Simpson missing the cut. I think he's just trying to kind of knock off some rust. That's another golf course that he plays extremely well. So he must not be playing a lot in Charlotte in the wintertime. I know the weather's been good, so there's not really an excuse. So didn't cash in there. Our 2 top 20 picks, Adam Scott, T21. We missed by a shot. Adam Scott played the last 3 holes 2 over par and didn't birdie the 18th hole, which is a driver and a 7-iron for him. And we missed cashing in on Adam Scott by 1 shot. So thank you, Adam Scott.
You're on the list.
Yeah, you just joined the list. You did. And I like you. But, when you do some dumb shit like that, you get on that list. Now, you might be able to redeem yourself.
Ask Billy Horschel about that.
Yeah, Billy Horschel's staying on that list for a while. He can't get off. It's like, this game is not checkers. It's not 3 strikes. It's 1 strike. You get on that list, especially when you bogey, you play the last 3 holes 2 over to not let me cook some food for myself at home. So, in our last pick, Mark Hubbard, I thought the guy, he's a good win player. He's a grinder. He was a little bit of a flyer pick also to finish in that top 20 and missed the cut. So, not a very good week, but this is what we did last year, right? We didn't cash any tickets the first 2 weeks of the year.
Right.
And then we won this week that we're going to talk about the American Express with Hudson Swafford. So we did pick him. He was one of our ham sandwich picks that really got us a lot of candy last year. Going into the year. So we're looking forward to our picks this week at the American Express.
Very, very good. And you guys can find Johnny's picks every Wednesday. We'll get into the American Express picks a little bit later in the show. You can find his picks every Wednesday on his Twitter handle at JGerberPGA Pro or on the show at From the Rough PGA. Also over on Facebook, on Instagram, all the good places where you find stuff like that. He's everywhere. Coming up next, after a quick break, we're going to talk some Live Golf, as they may have found a TV deal, which it's about time since you're a year into your existence. But what does it mean for Live Golf? We'll get into a little bit of that. We'll be right back.
Hello, sports fans. FanStream Sports.
Jeeves Law Group. I've known Scott Jeeves for quite some time, and he's just like us, a huge college football fan, but he's not just another PI attorney. He is a ferocious advocate for his clients. Scott Jeeves is a board-certified civil trial lawyer and a certified circuit court mediator practicing in Tampa Bay for over 30 years. He is an AV preeminent rated civil trial lawyer and certified circuit court mediator. Folks, these designations are not just given out. They're given only to the best trial attorneys. But more than anything, Scott takes these cases personally. I've heard it from his clients. He's a fighter you want on your side. Insurance companies hate it when they see you're represented by Jeeves. He's just different. 727-894-2929 or go to JeevesLawGroup.com. That's JEEVES lawgroup.com and tell him JP sent you.
Guys, let me tell you about Bay Area Modern Medical Center. Are you experiencing low sex drive, fatigue, hot flashes, moodiness, and you just don't feel like you have the vitality you once had? You're not just getting old, it's likely low testosterone. Studies over the last 20 years show a shocking decline in young.
Hello, sports Sports fans, FanStream Sports.
Jeeves Law Group. I've known Scott Jeeves for quite some time, and he's just like us, a huge college football fan, but he's not just another PI attorney. He is a ferocious advocate for his clients. Scott Jeeves is a board-certified civil trial lawyer and a certified circuit court mediator practicing in Tampa Bay for over 30 years. He is an AV preeminent rated civil trial lawyer and certified circuit court mediator. Folks, these designations are not just given out. They're given only to the best trial attorneys. But more than anything, Scott takes these cases personally. I've heard it from his clients. He's a fighter you want on your side. Insurance companies hate it when they see you're represented by Jeeves. He's just different. 727-894-2929 or go to JeevesLawGroup.com. That's JEEVES lawgroup.com and tell him JP sent you.
Guys, let me tell you about Bay Area Modern Medical Center. Are you experiencing low sex drive, fatigue, hot flashes, moodiness, and you just don't feel like you have the vitality you once had? You're not just getting old, it's likely low testosterone. Studies over the last 20 years show a shocking decline in younger males aged 16 to 39. Older men have seen a sharp decline as well. Do something about it. Go see my friend Christopher Lugo at Bay Area Modern Medicine. Testosterone replacement is not a frivolous treatment. It takes a professional targeted approach that focuses on total body wellness, vitality, and emotional stability. Not a one-size-fits-all approach like many clinics use. They will monitor your blood work and adjust your treatment as needed for optimal results. Call 844-977-3477 or go to BAMMC.com.
Now is the time to make sure your home insurance is in order. In the last year, many of us have made improvements to our homes. So call the folks at Italiano and discuss these upgrades to make sure you have enough coverage. According to a recent report, almost 64% of homeowners don't have enough insurance on their home, which is their most valuable asset. Also, a great time to make sure you have flood insurance. Even if your mortgage company does not require flood insurance, your home could still be at flood risk. Another big item as we enter hurricane season is making sure your pool enclosure is added to your policy and there will be no issue at claim time. That happens a lot. So call your friendly agent at Italiano Insurance to review your policies today. 813-877-7799 or ItalianoInsurance.com. Attention, if you are home shopping or looking for a refinance, and even if you already have the approval letter, you must call my man Scott Fitzgerald at American Mortgage Services. Scott has a brand new program available in the greater Tampa Bay area called the Community Advantage Loan Program. Get this, no money down, no mortgage insurance, no points, no origination fee, purchase or refinance, and loan amounts up to $647,000. Now, there are some application requirements. It must be a single-family home, one unit, primary residence, and have a minimum 640 credit score. The program only applies to certain neighborhoods, so you have to call to find out if you qualify. So call Scott Fitzgerald at 813-294-7595 or email him at scott@amstampa.com. Now, even if you don't qualify for that program, Scott will shop your loan around, get you the best rates, and won't charge you the huge upfront fees. And if you've had issues with your bank calling you back, Scott will return calls immediately or at least the same day. 813-294-7595 or email him, scott@amstampa.com. Scott Fitzgerald, MLS 386722, American Mortgage Services, 1000 North Ashland Drive, Suite 1020, Tampa, Florida.
Coming back at you.
Now, more FanStream Sports.
Welcome back, everybody, to FanStream Sports. We are from the Rough, America's favorite golf podcast, live from the DSP Media Studios in North Dallas, part of the FanStream Sports Network. Johnny, let's get into a little bit of live golf talk. I know you enjoy that so much.
I love it.
As
Just like a stubbed toe.
I heard a couple of reports today, and then I confirmed it via Twitter with my buddy Kyle Porter over at CBS Sports. Live Golf has found themselves a TV network. No, it's not CBS. No, it's not ESPN. It's not even Bravo.
It's a little CBS.
It's partly CBS.
Yeah.
It is the good old-fashioned CW, baby.
That's the one where they used to have the commercial with the frog on there, wasn't it?
Yes.
He was dancing for all.
The CW's been around for, and it's terrestrial TV. It's an actual TV network. It is 12% owned by CBS. It's also partly owned by Warner.
Dawson's Creek was on there.
Dawson's Creek was part of the WB. One Tree Hill was part of the WB. I'm trying to remember all those old.
You had Dawson's Creek on your bingo card. You win.
Yeah, because we never talk about that on this
show. Don't even fill anything out.
I did enjoy me some Dawson's Creek, man.
I didn't mind it.
Here's some stupid trivia for you. Dawson's Creek and Buffy the Vampire Slayer debuted on the same night. The first shows ever of each show were on the same night, the same time on the CW. And I know this because that was the day I moved out of my house to leave my first wife, and I was in my hotel room that night watching the WB or the CW.
That was a lot of information.
Yeah.
A lot.
And it was 25 years ago. Oh, I can celebrate 25 years free from her.
Yeah.
Huh. Sweet. Let's do another show about that another day.
That'd be great.
So CW, who, yes, is 12% owned by CBS, will air the Live Golf events. And I've got some hot thoughts about Live Golf. So, number one, this is a win for them somewhat, okay? Make no mistake, it's a win.
It's 100% win.
Because they finally have an outlet where people can find them. Because I'll be honest, I tried to find Live Golf a couple of times last year, and I couldn't.
You could only get it on streaming, I think. It was a streaming.
So supposedly they were on YouTube. I could never find it. And there were Facebook outlets that they were supposed to be on. I could never find it. Now, I didn't really care. Like, I was just tuning in to watch for something specific for the show.
Yeah.
But now they're on actual television. And I believe, how many households are they in? They are in 220 U.S. markets.
Well, it kind of makes a little bit of sense, right? I mean, I'm not, obviously CW is not one of the big networks, but anytime you have that type of money, it's going to be thrown at you to a small network. Why would you not take it if you're the CW? It only makes sense. It's all about the money. If that network, that's the way they're going to stay afloat. I mean, they're stupid not to take the money. It's just how much money are they really going to have to do to promote Live Golf on the CW that people know that it is actually on the CW, because CBS is not going to do it.
Right.
Like, they're not going to do it. So there's just going to be probably some of that money, and the normal kind of hand finger of businesses, you better take 5% to 10% of your profits and put it in marketing. And, that's what they're probably going to have to do to get people to know that it is on the CW. But hey, listen, huge win for LIV Golf. Huge win for Live Golf.
So initially Live Golf was going to, pair into a marketing partnership with Fox Sports to have their tournaments on FS1, but they were going to have to pay out of pocket for the broadcast to be, much like we would have to go pay to have whatever Golf Channel show or whatever. So it's another out-of-pocket expense. The deal with CW is a revenue sharing situation where they are not paying. It is not a pay-to-play. It's there's no fee for broadcast rights being paid. It's simply that they will share revenue for sponsorships, for television commercial deals, things like that, which is another win for Live Golf, since there's not going to be any money out of pocket. Because last season, supposedly on YouTube, I'm sure their website probably showed some of it, but dude, they had enormous production costs. They had to for that first season with the just the presentation, the production value of some of the stuff that I saw on replay. Dude, and they're they go all out of these tournaments for the spectators, and that costs a lot of money.
One of the questions I was really thinking about, as much money as it's really backed this tour, and I'm not saying they only need to do it for this tour, is why don't they just buy a network? Like, why would they just not buy like a CW? Like, I mean, as much money as they have, why would you just not do that? And that way you can make money on other shows and other things. And then kind of profile the Live Tour on that. That was something that was a little strange to me, that why they haven't really bought a smaller network potentially and kind of build that up and create it as an asset, as opposed to just kind of getting one of these little fledgling networks out there and kind of go from there and let the networks control the production.
Right.
Why would they just not do it themselves and buy a network? That's one of the little questions I'm curious about.
Well, and I guarantee you a huge aspect of this, with them agreeing with the CW with this deal, is that CBS owns part of the CW. and they wanted to be in bed somewhat with CBS, and this is as close as they could get.
And I'm surprised. Well, I mean, obviously, if a CBS only owning 12%, they probably don't have a lot of say. I'm surprised that they actually kind of went along with it, and maybe they did, and they just got outvoted. I don't know. That'd be my first guess, but yeah, I mean, like I said, that's a big win for Live Golf.
So I have some thoughts on Live Golf, and they're not going to be popular among Live Golf fans, if in fact there are any. I don't even know that there are. I know it's a curiosity as a league, and I'm sure there are fans of some of the players playing on the tour. Right? Obviously, there's guys that you want to root for that play over there instead of the PGA Tour nowadays, and that's fine. But it looks to me at this point like they're doing everything wrong after their first season, as they've had this whole offseason to promote themselves, to get back in the game, to keep people in touch with what's happening over there. And, dude, they have done literally nothing this offseason to promote themselves, to promote the upcoming season, to do anything. As a matter of fact, their head marketing guy, I can't remember the guy's name, that was basically in charge of selling what are called franchises for Live Golf, the teams and stuff. That dude quit.
Because he's working for Greg Norman. I mean,
yeah, he's out.
It's all about it. Listen, and Jay, somebody asked me that, I think it was one of the ESPN affiliates or somewhere, I was doing an interview, and somebody asked me, what's going on with LIV Golf? Is there a way for them to coexist with the PGA Tour? And I said, well, I mean, there is, but as long as Greg Norman is on the helm, it's not going to happen. Listen, it's not going to happen, and that's why they're talking about, potentially replacing Norman. I think that's a whole different type of story. I don't think it's as easy as what people think it is, but there's so much animosity between Monahan, the PGA Tour, and Greg Norman. They won't do it. He won't do it. And especially if there's still lawsuits, which there is, still lawsuits going, it's going to be a long time. And I think the first step, and if anything's really going to kind of step forward and people really going to be aggressive about making this thing work together, Greg Norman has to be out of the picture. It just does. I mean, he just does.
Well, you know why? Because the PGA will not negotiate, or the PGA Tour will not negotiate with terrorists.
Well, they won't. What?
Greg Norman.
Yeah, exactly.
That's who I meant.
Or predators.
Or predators. Wow.
Yeah.
So here's my next point on Live Golf about them not promoting themselves. The only thing they have done social media wise since their last event is they are offering the top 50 shots of the past season, 5 at a time, on their Twitter handle.
Like shots of booze, or what do you mean shots?
I think they meant golf shots.
Oh.
But it could be liquor shots. I mean, I'd probably watch the liquor shots more than I would.
I mean, it wouldn't surprise me. Greg Norman owns a wine company and a liquor company.
Well, there it is.
Surprise me if he tries to throw that shit in.
But like the whole premise of this is team play, right? They've got teams, right? So it's sort of more similar to a regular sports league.
It's both. You have individual. You have your individual.
All right, you have individual scoring. I understand that, but you also have the team aspect of it. So if that's the case, if you want to garner interest from people, at least somebody like me that's into the more traditional sports, you need to have free agents. You need to have player trades. You need to have
they have cuts.
These
they have
treats, these teams treated more like an actual sports team. So you know what? If Team A wants to trade for another guy on another team, hey, we'll give you this golfer, and then we'll give you the purse from our next 2 wins or something like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I kind of like that.
And then you need to have
you've said in a long time.
Then you need to have like free agent guys who's look, you're going to be with this team for the next 2 seasons. All right. After that, you can go wherever you want, or you can stay. It's up to you. And then if a team wants them, they go schmooze them, just like a franchise would go schmooze a free agent quarterback or whatever. And you have all of those offseason stories for the fans to get into and to be vested in and think about that and to keep up with. But if you're not going to even promote your own league, your teams, your players on social media in your offseason, dude, you are going to be forgotten so fast that you will – I don't even know if Live Golf's going to be around in 3 years, to be honest with you.
That's good. I mean, you make some great points. I like the free agent stuff, but you do know they can get cut, right? They can get kicked off a Live Tour, which is kind of shitty and things like that. Here's what I'm going to tell you. There's going to be more guys that defects to Live Tour that are big-name guys. I'm not going to say any. I've heard a couple rumors, And the people that remember when I told you a couple of the guys that were leaving after the PGA and they did leave, it's coming from the same person.
Right.
I can't say who they are yet, but it's going to happen after the Masters. So just
well, and we all know what everybody that goes to live golf, God bless them, it's all about the money. That's the whole point. They make no qualms about it.
And I'm fine with it.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with that.
If you come out and say, listen, I did this shit for the money. Hey, man, listen, like I said, Bryson DeChambeau, like some of these guys said, or who's the one and just definitely came out and said, man, I went for the cash, straight cash, homie.
Yep. And you can't blame people for that.
I have no problem with you if you do that.
David Faraday, of course, left. He was NBC, and then the British Open. He was on the Golf Channel.
Yep.
Went to live golf, and he straight up said, well, his was two reasons. Number one was the money. And number two, he wanted an opportunity to be the number one guy on a broadcast team. He's not going to get that at NBC or Golf Channel.
And his contract was up.
And it's right. So he had an availability to go. So, and you know what? Good luck, David. Wish he'll be back though. I'm sure he'll be back.
I don't know. We'll see.
And
I think they're paying him enough money. Why does he want to come?
Well, if they go away, he'll be back.
Well, no. I mean, I think he's going to get enough money in the next 3 or 4 years.
Never have to work again.
No,
but he will.
He lives here in Dallas.
Yeah, he did. He's a local guy for sure. So anyway, that's just. I think it's a horrible look from a social media standpoint, because you're going after these young guys they live on social media. They live on Twitter, on TikTok, on Instagram, I don't know if young people are on Facebook. My kids tell me Facebook's for old people now, which I don't understand, but I'm on it, so they're probably right. But I just think it's a bad look from a promotional standpoint for these guys to not be promoting them, at all, or their teams or anybody. Supposedly, what is it, the Four Aces? That's DJ's team, right?
Yeah.
Supposedly they're changing team names now. Like they're going to have, that's supposed to be a big cliffhanger for Live Golf. What's the Four Aces going to be called next year? You know what? Who cares?
It's going to come down to a sponsorship deal. It's going to be the Frito-Lay Four Aces or some bullshit like that. And I don't know.
And it should. I mean, if you're going to do that.
Absolutely.
So that's my hot topic about my hot opinion about Live Golf.
You warned me you were just going to get all hot and bothered about this topic, so I tried to let you go as much as you could.
It just pisses me off. So coming up next, we're going to get into the American Express, Johnny's picks and predictions, a little bit about the course, a little bit about who we think will do well and who won't. What's the purse? Where are they playing it, and why? And why did they change the cut? We'll get into that next.
Hello, sports fans. FanStream Sports.
Jeeves Law Group. I've known Scott Jeeves for quite some time, and he's just like us, a huge college football fan. But he's not just another PI attorney. He is a ferocious advocate for his clients. Scott Jeeves is a board-certified civil trial lawyer and a certified circuit court mediator practicing in Tampa Bay for over 30 years. He is an AV preeminent rated civil trial lawyer and certified circuit court mediator. Folks, these designations are not just given out. They're given only to the best trial attorneys. But more than anything, Scott takes these cases personally. I've heard it from his clients. He's a fighter you want on your side. Insurance companies hate it when they see you're represented by Jeeves. He's just different. 727-894-2929 or go to JeevesLawGroup.com. That's JEEVES lawgroup.com and tell him JP sent you.
Guys, let me tell you about Bay Area Modern Medical Center. Are you experiencing low sex drive, fatigue, hot flashes, moodiness, and you just don't feel like you have the vitality you once had? You're not just getting old, it's likely low testosterone. Studies over the last 20 years show a shocking decline in younger males aged 16 to 39. Older men have seen a sharp decline as well. Do something about it. Go see my friend Christopher Lugo at Bay Area Modern Medicine. Testosterone replacement is not a frivolous treatment. It takes a professional targeted approach that focuses on total body wellness, vitality, and emotional stability. Not a one-size-fits-all approach like many clinics use. They will monitor your blood work and adjust your treatment as needed for optimal results. Call 844-977-3477 or go to BAMMC.com.
Now is the time to make sure your home insurance is in order. In the last year, many of us have made improvements to our homes. So call the folks at Italiano and discuss these upgrades to make sure you have enough coverage. According to a recent report, almost 64% of homeowners don't have enough insurance on their home, which is their most valuable asset. Also, a great time to make sure you have flood insurance. Even if your mortgage company does not require flood insurance, your home could still be at flood risk. Another big item as we enter hurricane season is making sure your pool enclosure is added to your policy and there will be no issue at claim time. That happens a lot. So call your friendly agent at Italiano Insurance to review your policies today. 813-877-7799 or ItalianoInsurance.com. Attention, if you are home shopping or looking for a refinance, and even if you already have the approval letter, you must call my man Scott Fitzgerald at American Mortgage Services. Scott has a brand new program available in the greater Tampa Bay area called the Community Advantage Loan Program. Get this, no money down, no mortgage insurance, no points, no origination fee, purchase or refinance, and loan amounts up to $647,000. Now, there are some application requirements. It must be a single-family home, 1 unit, primary residence, and have a minimum 640 credit score. The program only applies to certain neighborhoods, so you have to call to find out if you qualify. So call Scott Fitzgerald at 813-294-7595 or email him at scott@amstampa.com. Now, even if you don't qualify for that program, Scott will shop your loan around, get you the best rates, and won't charge you the huge upfront fees. And if you've had issues with your bank calling you back, Scott will return calls immediately or at least the same day. 813-294-7595 or email him, scott@amstampa.com. Scott Fitzgerald, MLS 386722, American Mortgage Services, 1000 North Ashland Drive, Suite 1020, Tampa, Florida.
Coming back at you.
Now, more FanStream Sports.
Welcome back to From the Rough on FanStream Sports, part of the DSP Media Podcast Network. I'm Tim, that's Johnny. This is From the Rough. We're about to do our American Express preview, brought to you by turflife.club, highlandspgc.com, and of course our new partner, Golf Central Magazine, over at golfcentralmag.com.
That's right.
They got a brand new issue out. Might have some stuff in there about DSP Media over there on page, page 12? You might want to go check out on your digital copy there at golfcentralmag.com.
Yeah, we've been fortunate enough to partner again with Miss Terry Purdom on Turf Life and with Golf Central Magazine. She's been gracious enough to have us write some nice articles, write some sports articles, write some stuff about golf, write some stuff about culture, and gave us a page to really kind of showcase, FanStream Sports, DSP Media, what's going on around the world in sports, just not in regional. So we're very fortunate and lucky to be partnered with Golf Central Magazine.
Looking forward to a long and fruitful and distinguished partnership with all those people.
Yeah, I love the hat, but that doesn't work for you.
Didn't like it on top of the headset?
No.
I wore it last week and it got hot.
But it wasn't
hot in this room.
It wasn't on top of the headset, though.
No. It was under the headset. I got hot. Like my face was sweating. It's a warm hat.
Well, I was wondering you don't think half the bottle of vodka that was gone?
Sir, alcohol does not touch these lips. I don't know what you are talking about.
Yeah, that's about right.
It just goes straight through to the gullet.
It just goes through the straw.
It goes all the way through.
Yeah.
So, Johnny, the 2023 American Express is this weekend out there in La Quinta, California. It's the PGA West Stadium course, the Nicklaus Tournament course, and you said there was a third. Yeah,
it's a 3 golf course rotation that they have. It's the Private Club, the Nicklaus Club, and the I don't remember the other golf, but it's a 3 tournament. So all the pros play. It's a 54-hole cut, which is rare,
right,
on the PGA.
But you have to do that if you're playing 3 courses, right? Everybody has to have an opportunity on level ground.
That's right, and it's one of those events, and there's very few. It's this week in Pebble in a couple weeks. That it's a pro-am format that the amateurs play 3 rounds, but in Pebble the amateurs, if they make the cut, they play 4 rounds. But this week it's only 3 rounds, so the tour guys have to get opportunity to play each golf course. Mm-hmm. The reason why they have 3 golf courses because it's such a big field with
156 players,
and then it's only 1 am. So you got 156 times 2, So you got 312 people playing. So you got to spread that over 3 golf courses. So it's one of those deals that it's a shootout. You're going to have to shoot 22 or 23, 24 under par depending on the weather. And again, the golf course is perfect. If there's no wind, I've been out there a bunch. A buddy of mine used to play in that tournament when it was the old Bob Hope, and I'd go out there and hang out with him in the wintertime when it was
I miss
cold.
Bob Hope, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
He was a good dude.
Seemed like it. But like I said, it's a cool format. A lot of the thing of the tour guys, a lot of these tour guys don't like playing in this like type of format, the Pro-Am type of format that they're dealing with 3 different AMs in each day. And some guys love it. It takes a lot of pressure off some of the guys that they can really go out and kind of freewheel it. But you don't see a lot of superstars playing in this tournament. There's a few more this week. John Rahm, surprisingly, he's playing. Scotty Scheffler's playing, which is great. So you'll look for some of these new younger guys that's kind of going to get some starts. And that's why this golf tournament is really kind of lended itself to some of the maybe first-time winners, guys that potentially you've never really heard of, but they can still play golf, but it's, they're just comfortable. They don't have all the added pressure of trying to win, and it's a little bit more relaxing atmosphere.
So this is the biggest field of the young year as they step foot onto PGA West for the first tournament on the continental U.S. soil. 156 players, competitors will be tasked with lugging around their playing partners as the first 2 California Pro-Ams is set to take place. Spread across 3 different golf courses within the PGA West facilities. The American Express features a 54-hole cut, as we mentioned, rather than the standard 36-hole cut. The Stadium course, the Nicklaus Tournament course, and I guess La Quinta Country Club is the third one we can think of.
Yeah.
It's been considered by some to be a putting contest. Have you ever heard this before?
A lot.
That person who said that on record most recently, Mr. John Rahm. Of course,
he doesn't like these types of places.
No, he does not like it at all, and he's really kind of one of the headliners here, clearly.
Yeah.
As there's some guys skipping out, as he talked about. He's joined by a surprisingly strong field for a standard non-designated PGA Tour event. In fact, 10 of the top 20 players in the world will play the American Express, including world number 2 Scotty Scheffler, world number 6 Xander Schauffele, who's returning to action following his withdrawal from the Tournament of Champions. You've got Patrick Cantlay, Tony Finau, Will Zalatoris, Cam Young, Sam Burns, Tom Kim, and Sungjae Im, rounding out a long list of big names here that are looking to kickstart their year in Coachella Valley.
Yeah, like I said, it's a little bit better field than most years. I'm not really sure why. A lot of the guys skip kind of Sony, and a lot of these guys are really happy to get kind of back on the mainland a little bit, and they're playing California for the next 3 weeks. But be a little careful when you start looking at these golf tournaments if you're a handicapper, because all 3 of these places. So you got this week, you have San Diego, and then you're going to Pebble. Even though they're in California, they're completely different types of golf courses. They're completely different types of grasses. And the players who win in all 3 of these places are different types of players. So, like I said, even though you're in California, you're looking at 3 different types of people that will have success at this golf tournament.
Getting into a little bit of the odds for some of the players there, John Rahm is according to Caesar Sportsbook anyway, he is the favorite. By the way, I don't think I mentioned this. Par 72. I guess all 3 are par 72s?
Par 72s.
7,060 yards. I don't know what course they're offering here. I guess the PGA Stadium course, I think, is what the yardage is on that one. The purse for this event, though, a measly $8 million.
Yeah, it's a smaller purse, right? You think
it is.
You think it'd be a little bit more with all the sponsor money that's coming in, and I think if I'm not mistaken, for amateur to play in this, it's about $20,000.
Really? See, that doesn't seem like too much, really.
$20,000 a person to play 3 rounds of golf?
Oh, you'd pay it. Come on.
No, they pay me.
Well, that's normally how it works.
I mean, you would pay me. I mean,
I have to pay. You have to pay your entry fee?
No, you have to pay to play in the Pro-Am.
I know, but you'd pay it.
Why would I pay it?
To go play.
I'm not an amateur.
Well, I mean, your score would beg to differ.
I'll say so. Speaking of the golf courses, so you're looking at 7,000 yards playing in the desert. It plays short. I mean, these golf courses are playing short with the elevation and the wind. I mean, you're looking usually the rule of thumb, you can usually take about 5 to 7, 8% off due to elevation.
Just because of the elevation,
the air. So these golf courses are playing 6,500 yards. Their pins are going to be in the middle of the golf courses because they don't want these amateurs to struggle and be out there all day because sunlight's going to be an issue sometimes because they're long days. And, these amateurs want to try to grind it out, or they want to try to keep bumping shoulders with the pro that they're playing with. And so there's a lot of variables. But as I said before, you got to be a kind of a special type of person as a professional golfer to be willing and want to play in these events. The thing you don't want to do is go out there and just be an asshole as a pro to your amateur. So there's a little bit of that. You want to make sure they have a good time, but you also want to make sure you're kind of concentrating on your game. So that's a hard balance sometimes for a lot of these guys. And, for a lot of these guys, that's easy. So when I handicapped the card this week, and that's why we had success last year, won the event as an underdog, as our ham sandwich pick with Hudson Swafford. And I think we got a one or two top 10s and a top 20. So we know how to handicap this event. And, like I said, it's just a different type of event.
John Rahm is your betting favorite according to Caesar Sportsbook at 6-1. Scotty Scheffler 10-1, which to me was a little bit surprising that he's that high. Patrick Cantlay 11-1, Finau 14-1, Sung J M 18-1, Will Zalatoris 20-1, Xander Schauffele 20-1, Cameron Young 20-1, our buddy Tom Kim 20-1, and Sam Burns rounds out at 28-1. Let's get into our picks and predictions here for a little bit. And again, I swung and I missed on my winner, Tom Kim, for last week.
Did you figure out any theme music?
Oh, yeah, I forgot we played this, didn't we?
Come on. I'm glad we have our new junior producer sitting in the studio with us right now.
I know, he's got to learn stuff.
Because the last 2 weeks, you have just been dog shit.
I'm still not in my game for this show. It's been a long time.
It's not like it's cold out. It's been nasty. You've just been hunkered down at the house.
Yeah.
Get into character, dude.
I need a girlfriend.
No, you don't.
Anybody out there watching the show, or if you've got a daughter that watches the show and you'd like her to go out with me?
Yeah, please don't. Please don't.
Tweet the show.
Or you will be a grandmother.
No, I can't have kids anymore.
Yes, you can.
Pretty sure that's impossible.
No, it's not.
You're probably right. This week, I've got my winner, I've got my top 10, and I've got my top 20. Johnny, you are going to hate this. I believe we intersect in 3 different names this week.
Oh, boy.
As I've got, as my winner, Mr. Cameron Young at 20-1. My top 10, Cameron Davis, plus 425. And my top 20, Sahith Theegala at plus 190.
So let me scratch all those off.
Yeah. Because typically, for those of you that don't normally watch the show, when Johnny and I have intersecting picks, they normally don't end well for either one of us, but especially him. But Johnny's picks brought to you by, as they always are, by turflife.club. And we'll put them up on the screen if you guys are watching the video. Feel free to take a screenshot or whatever you need to do before you head over to your sports book, your legal sports book.
They're all legal now. I think they're all legal now.
Are they?
Which is great.
All right.
Yeah, like I said, the first couple of weeks is kind of what we followed into last year. Is not really a great start to the year, but we did the same thing last year. But when we do that, when we certainly have one bad week, we jump on the horse. But unfortunately, we had 2 bad weeks, so that means we're going to have a monster week this week like we had last week. So my first pick on the board, despite Timm's firm, eager ways to try to get a date.
Yeah, I tried.
And his pick with Cam Young. We're going to stick with Cam Young, but I got Cam Young at 22-1. I don't know where you got 20-1, but that's why I do what I do and get it a little bit better.
Well, I took those off of like this afternoon,
okay.
So I don't know when you got yours.
22-1. You're looking at a guy that the golf course fits perfectly. He's cool in the Pro-Am format. The reason why I say that is you might not think this is a big deal, but it's a big deal. His father's a PGA pro. He grew up at country club all his life, playing with members at country clubs. He's not a shy. He comes out as a shy guy, but when he gets on the golf course, he's used to playing with some of these guys that members at the country club, and his dad kind of honed him in to say, hey, man, listen, you really got to grow the game. You got to play around guys all the time. You can't just be focused on yourself. So I think this Pro-Am format suits him well. The guy's kind of due to kind of break out, and it's just one of those years that I think he's going to with a few other guys. So I like him in our first spot at 22-1. Second spot, Taylor Montgomery at 45-1. I don't know why he's 45-1.
That's a long shot for him, I think,
He
right?
finished middle of the pack last week at like T15th or something like that. But the guy is, since the wraparound season started, so far he ranks number 1 on the PGA Tour in putting. Putting is going to be a huge deal this week. The greens are going to be perfect, especially now, even though the amateurs are going to walk all over their lines and shit like that, but they're allowed to tap them down now. So look at these things to really help Taylor Montgomery, number 1 putter on the PGA Tour by stats. I like him in our second spot. Third spot, Cam Davis at 45-1. Despite what Tim says, I'm taking Cam Davis. And that's all I'm going to say. Our ham sandwich, our long shot pick this week, guys, Andrew Putnam at 50-1.
By the way, your ham sandwich in last week's picks at the exact same odds.
Exactly. You look at a guy, Andrew Putnam, this is a perfect spot for him. I thought he'd play a little bit better than he did last week. Well, actually, I thought he'd win. He just didn't have a great second round. The guy loves Pro-Am formats. I'm actually playing in the same tournament in a Pro-Am with him in a couple weeks. He loves this. He loves playing at Pebble Beach, the Pro-Am. He loves playing the week after in the Pebble Beach Invitational that I'll be playing in. I don't know how I got in. I don't know why they keep inviting me, but they do.
Every year.
And I'm playing. So look at him. He loves this Pro-Am form, all these Pro-Am formats. That's why I really like him in this spot. He feels comfortable. And look for him to really win. I think the guy's due to win, and I love him in this spot. 2 top 10 picks this week, guys. Sahith Theegala at plus 500. He's not the greatest putter on the PGA Tour. He loves these type of formats. And this is big. When I keep saying this type of formats, this is huge. Playing these type of formats. Long days, amateur partners, plus 500. I like him. He's going to drive the ball well. He's going to have irons in every par 5. It's just a matter if he can putt a little bit better than he has been. You got to shoot 23, 25 under par to win, and I think with this firepower, he's going to be able to do that. Second top 10 pick this week, guys, Denny McCarthy at plus 700. This guy is the best putter in the world, period. I don't care what stats say about Taylor Montgomery at 45-1. Denny McCarthy is the best putter in the world, no debate. He's plus 700, not the longest hitter on the PGA Tour. If the wind's not blowing, he's going to make 7-8 birdies a day if he can eliminate a couple bogeys and keep rolling the rock like he does. Look for him to kind of jump up there. Maybe have a chance to win. I didn't pick him chance to win. I just didn't like how he finished last week in Sony, but I like him in that top 10 spot. 2 top 20 picks this week, guys. Justin Rose, plus 300. Yes, Justin Rose. He still does play golf. He does. Loves this place. He always has success out here. Quick stat, last year on the PGA Tour, Justin Rose was number 1 in yards tee to green from 150 yards and in. You're going to have 1 million of these 150 yards and in on this golf course. Justin Rose was the best last year on the PGA Tour at this stat. I like him plus 300. And our last top 20 pick is Jason Day at plus 300 again. Jason Day is finally getting healthy. I'm rooting for this guy. He's a Columbus, Ohio resident. I know he's been hitting balls, practicing. He's lost about 20 pounds, guys. And the reason he's had to do that is just because he's trying to alleviate some of that pressure off his back. I think he's going to come in this year, have a great year, come in healthy. And this is going to be a great start for a guy that hits the ball far, loves the Pro-Am format, and kind of jumpstart his PGA Tour year this week. And I like him in this spot, top 20 at plus 300.
And by the way, just a year after John Rahm very vocally criticized the setup of this tournament last year, talking about the putting, the necessity to be a good putter, he now arrives as one of the world's best putters over the last 7 events that have been measured, with plus 1.46 strokes gained per round on the green.
Those stats are a little misleading.
They are. But for him, that's a big deal, I think.
A little bit. The stats are one thing, but listen, I can tell you for a fact, like the best putters on the best putter I've ever seen in my life was Brad Faxon, right? That's why he teaches putting now. His stats were never the best. He's the best. He was ever the best putter. But everyone on the PGA Tour will tell you Brad Faxon was the best putter. I mean, sure. It's just the way it is. So little those misleading stats. The stat with Taylor Montgomery is not misleading when it comes to that.
Yep.
But he's not a better putter than Denny McCarthy. He's just not.
So you guys tune in to the American Express this weekend, what I still refer to as the Bob Hope Classic. I mean, it'll always be Bob Hope's.
And we're going to have some matchups. We didn't have matchups the last couple tournaments just because the time change is tough. They've had some weather stuff that they had to deal with. So I didn't really do any matchups. But this will be the week we do some matchups. Again, I just don't throw matchups out there. Last year we were 105 and 53 in matchups. It's kind of our bread and butter. And as we know, last year our profitability in units was $26,670. So listen, this is how we started our year last year. Didn't cash any tickets last year the first 2 weeks. This is how we kind of ramped our year last year. We're going to do it again this year.
So tune in to all the social media Saturday morning. Johnny sends me, and I'll throw them out there on social media for all of his matchups. He doesn't do them on Thursday. He doesn't do them on Friday because he likes to watch how these guys play the first 2 days to get his feel for them and figure out what's going to happen weather-wise and all that good stuff. But he'll send them to me, and I'll shoot them out on social media on Saturday morning and Sunday morning. We'll give you 2 or 3 a day. Really is what we do here.
Usually 2, maybe 1. It just depends. It's like just because I like a matchup that I look at the odds too. I rarely put somebody that's plus 150 or better. So what that means is, 150 or better. So you're risking 150 units or dollars to 1. So if you win, that's what you're risking, or minus. It's usually minus. So you're minus 150. So if you lose the bet, you have to pay 150 and if you win the bet, you pay 100. So I don't like kind of playing half of my doubling up my money per se.
Right. So look for those again. Johnny's Twitter is at JGerber PGA Pro. We are at From the Rough. We also put them out at DSP Media Online, and I am at IndyCarTim. They'll also be on Facebook and on Instagram and all those special places out there. But you guys tune into the tournament. We'll talk about it next Wednesday. I will be live from the FanStream Sports DSP Media Studios. Johnny will be on the road live via satellite. The miracle of satellite from Tampa on Wednesday?
I believe we'll have to look at
Orlando.
So we got Tampa next week, and then we have Orlando the week after that, and then we have Pebble Beach, I believe.
He'll be at Pebble Beach. I'm going to punch something right now.
Yeah.
So wherever he is, I will be here, and we will both be here to greet you on YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, and Twitch, and then, of course, the recorded podcast the next day, anywhere you get your podcast. We appreciate you guys tuning in, supporting us. Special thanks to Turf Life at turflife.club, to the Highlands Performance Golf Center at highlandspgc.com, and, of course, our brand-new partners over at Golf Central Magazine at golfcentralmag.com. Check out their new issue now. The digital copy is online waiting for you today. I am Tim. That is Johnny. We are From the Rough. And until next week, boys and girls, y'all keep hitting them straight. Today's episode is brought to you by the Highlands Performance Golf Center, North Dallas's premier golf practice facility with over 65 grass tees, 2 practice putting surfaces, a short game area, and an 18-hole mini golf course. With covered and heated tees, it's the best place to practice your game year-round. The Highlands Performance Golf Center is located in Carrollton on Trinity Mills, in between Marsh and Midway. Give them a call at 972-733-4111 or check them out on the web at highlandspgc.com.